Hey everybody, my name is Steve. I'm a backend engineer on the package team at GitLab, and today I'm going to show you how we have implemented a project level Conan repository. And what that means is that with this new feature, you can now upload Conan packages regardless of naming restrictions, and I'll show you how that all works. Let me share my screen here. All right. So when working with the Conan repository, as I had mentioned, when you add a remote, previously we were only working with instant remotes. So this was the command you'd run to add GitLab as a remote, and then you were forced to use a specific naming convention where the user in your package recipe had to be the + separated project path. So if your project was foo/bar, your username had to be foo+bar. And this didn't really work very well because if you had a project that was multiple subgroups deep, you would get a very, very long username, and then sometimes that would even exceed the 50-character limit that Conan has on its username. So what we've done is, instead of using that naming restriction as a way to look up your project, as a way to look up your project, we have a new remote you can connect to. And this is just a different URL that includes your project ID. So let's take a look at how this works. So I have a project set up here that is ready to go. It's totally empty. There's no packages in it yet. And I'm going to grab the project ID, and I will grab this remote. And let's go ahead and add the fresh remote here. So we just need to change out the project ID and change it from gitlab.example.com to gitlab.com, or whatever your domain is for your GitLab instance. And I'm going to call this one GitLab project since I already have a GitLab remote. All right. Now I'm already in a simple Conan project, so now we can create our package just like any other thing, but we don't need to use the naming restrictions, so we can just say like no restrictions. And we'll call it stable. So that'll create my package. And now we could add a user to add our credentials, or I'm just going to do it in line. So this is going to be our Conan username. Our Conan username is our GitLab username, and then we have a Conan password, which is going to be your personal access token, deploy token, or if you're using CI, it'll be your job token. There's many examples in the docs of how you can do this, or you can do it explicitly in line like this, or by adding a user separately. So I have mine. Oops. And we're going to upload this recipe. And we're going to do everything to the remote GitLab project, I believe is what I called it. Could be, this was actually supposed to be Conan user. Yeah, just have it username instead of user. All right, and there we have the upload succeeded. If we go back to our project, we can come to our package registry, and there's our package. And looking a little bit closer, we see that we have that correct recipe. There's no naming restrictions, and we can work with it from there by running our installation, setting up with this remote. All right, well, I hope that was helpful, and please feel free to reach out at sabrams on GitLab. Be happy to answer any questions.